Hey guys, you're watching Car Topic, and today we're going to be talking about the car that no one really likes, the BMW i8. Now, you might see this car every once in a while when you're driving in the city or when you're in an area where there's a lot of exotic cars, but you really don't see this car quite often, and there's quite a few reasons for that. So, if we take a look at the very first BMW i8 that was introduced into the United States in 2014. In 2014, the i8 originally did have a lot of hype, mainly because it was a plug-in hybrid car. Now, around 2014, a lot of new plug-in hybrid cars were being introduced into the market. It wasn't just the Toyota Prius. So people were a lot more open-minded to this hybrid technology, and the i8 coming in as this entry-level supercar, people were super excited to see how a car like this could incorporate its plug-in hybrid technology. But this technology is actually the BMW i8's first fault, and why people really don't like this car and why people don't buy it. And that's because the plug-in hybrid range for the BMW i8 in 2014 was only 15 miles, which is really nothing for a hybrid car, let alone a plug-in hybrid car. But on top of that, you're thinking, okay, maybe it doesn't have a lot of electric power because it has a great engine. And I really wish that you were right, but it only had 357 horsepower. And with 357 horsepower, that's really not a lot to be considered an entry-level supercar. And on top of that, you might be thinking, fine, it doesn't have a lot of power, the electric range is horrible, but it's probably a great price. You know, you'd probably expect this car to be around $50,000, maybe $80,000 because it's a BMW. But this car started at $136,000. For that kind of money, you could get yourself R8 that had 420 horsepower, and it had much more performance, had much more supercar features, and really there was no reason to buy this car. It was super expensive and it didn't perform nearly as well as cars that were much cheaper. Now, BMW realized that this was an issue and they tried fixing it as best as they could. So like, let's take a look at the 2020 i8 for example. The 2020 i8 has slightly more horsepower. It has a 369 horsepower, which in my opinion is still really nothing for an entry-level supercar. Again, you need at least 400 horsepower in my opinion to get into that entry-level supercar range. But it did have a little more horsepower, we'll give it that. And then it also did have slightly more electric range, 18 miles. So with 18 miles of electric range and slightly more horsepower, it's looking good, but then it all gets ruined when you hear the new price. This new car was selling for $147,000. Now, with $147,000, you can get yourself way more performance, way more reputability, way more status. I'm talking like an AMG GT. A Mercedes AMG GTC will cost you a teensy bit more money, but you're getting 550 horsepower. And for that kind of money, you can easily get yourself cars with hundreds of more horsepower that are handle way better. So overall, the BMW i8 was really just overpriced. There would have been a market for it. It probably could have been sold as a high-end sports car if it were around $80,000, $70,000, but it wasn't. They were trying to sell it as an entry-level supercar, and it failed to do that. So that's really the reason why no one likes this car. I mean, these things sell on the aftermarket for extremely low prices. You can get a BMW i8 used for $50,000, and that's insane considering that they were worth more than twice that price only a few years ago. These things depreciate so quickly because no one really wants them. So that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I really hope you learned at least a few things on why the BMW i8 is the car that nobody likes. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and let me know down in the comments what you thought of today's video, as well as if you have any ideas for future videos. I'll be sure to make it happen to the best of my ability. But thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time on Car Topic.